talking about my birth experience here in Germany and how it was. Did I like it? What didn't I like? Everything. Everything, everything, everything. Okay? My daughter was born September 27th, 2022. She is currently 8 months old. As my baby. I'm putting up pictures so y'all can see her. That's my girl. But the 26th, I went to my OB for an appointment because my due date was originally September 20th. So after the 20th, I was going to my OB literally every day. He did do a couple of things to try to manipulate my cervix to get me to go into labor or for my water to break prior to that day, but nothing was really working. So when I went in on the 26th and they checked, and they saw it was no like real change since the last couple of days. Nothing has really like a significant change to be like, okay, go to the hospital. That he called the hospital and told them that I was to be induced the next day. So regardless, her birthday was gonna be September 27th at that point. But in my head, I thought I was gonna be induced. No. Mama said, no, you will not force me out, okay? She said, I am coming when I want to come. But I drove home. I was on the phone with one of my best friends and my big sister. One of my big sisters. And I was just talking to them and I was just telling them how frustrated I was. And I was just like, oh, I just want her to come. I was so tired of being pregnant, if I'm being honest. I was so tired of being pregnant. It was too much for my little body to handle. It was too much. And I wanted her out. I wanted an eviction notice. She had to go. She stopped paying rent. She had to go. But I was talking to them and I had Braxton Hicks throughout my pregnancy. So when I was getting pain, I thought it was just gonna be like my Braxton Hicks pain, which it was at first. And because I was still able to like move through it, I was fine. And my sister was like, you know when you're having your contractions, says you know when it's contractions and it's like time. She was like, because the way you moving through your pains now, she was like, baby, they gonna break you down, lock you down. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And immediately after she said that, when I say like immediately after she said that statement, I had the meanest contraction ever.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
I was like, ooh, ooh, like just hunched over, and they could see me. I'm just hunched over in pain, and they were trying to tell me breathe through it because I would hold my breath when I was in that pain, and I know it's not good for you, but that was just my natural body response. Was to hold my breath, but they kept telling me to breathe to make sure I breathe through it, because putting like but it's bad for the baby because I'm holding my breath, so she's not getting air either. Yeah, I was like, as soon as she said it, and it was like immediate, like contraction after contraction, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, little mama. All of a sudden, you trying to show out. Don't be playing with me. If we gonna do it, this better be the real thing. But it was. So I sat on the phone with them for a little bit longer, and then I was just like, y'all, I think I'm gonna just go lay down. I'm gonna go lay down. And they was like, just call me back if you need me. Anything happens, just call me. I got off the phone with them, and I literally was walking towards the hallway to get to my bedroom, and my water broke. Bitch! My water just broke, okay? And my face was, that was legit my face. I was just like, what the heck is going on? What is going on? Should I have been talking to my sister for these past couple of days for her to tell baby girl to come out? Like, what is going on? This is crazy. And so I had called my husband. He was at work, and I told him, I said, honey, I think you need to come home because either I peed on myself or my water broke. That was literally what I said, because I was like, did I pee on myself? And I looked it up in that moment too and was like, how do you know if your water broke? And people was like, you have to smell it or you can see a color difference. I said, I'm not doing neither. Like, I'm not getting down there. Like, I'll clean it up with the towel on my foot, but I'm not getting down there already having contractions, trying to look at the color or smelling it. If I get to the hospital and they say, no, you just peed on yourself, then it is what it is. Like, but he came home. I had gotten a shower while he was on his way home, and I finished packing like our last bit of stuff was like the food stuff out of the fridge. And he came home and he was like, you okay? Are you in pain? I was like, yeah, I'm in pain, but I'm okay. Like, you don't have to rush. You can take your time. You can get in the shower. And he did not pack his bag. Okay? That man did not pack his bag till that day. But I did tell him that he could take his time. Did I want him to? No. I didn't want him to listen. But, you know, it is what it is. She's here now. We're fine. But we eventually drove to the hospital. And we put a towel down like on his seat in case like more fluid was gonna come out while we were driving, because I was like, I don't want to ruin your seats and I don't want you to be upset. I mean, we definitely get his car detailed, but I was just like, I don't want to do that. So, but they checked us in. So when we got there, actually the main side of the hospital was closed, so we had to go in through the emergency room entrance. So we got down there, they checked us in, we did the paperwork, and then we walked to the labor and delivery side. When we got over there, they checked me. My husband, this was around like heavy COVID time where you still had to wear a mask and everything. But he was with me in the room, and they checked me. They told me I was only 2 centimeters dilated, and I was like, "Would I do this longer?" And mind you, I was having some mean contractions, so I'm like, only 2 centimeters. Like, how long do I gotta endure this? And my plan was always to have a natural birth. But in that moment, I was almost like, baby, drug me up, dose me up. But I didn't immediately, at least. They did give me fluid and they hooked me up. They was looking at my contractions and everything. And then they eventually moved me to a room. But they did not move me into a family room. So like over here, they have, you can get a family room or you can just have like a regular room. And if it's just a regular room, it's just you and maybe one other person or 2 other people, depending on how the room is set up. But they're also like pregnant and in labor or just pregnant in there for some reason. And y'all are both in the room. When I went to my room, it was nighttime. By then, my husband helped me move everything in. Said I'll be downstairs, and I told, at first he said he was gonna stay downstairs in the parking lot, but I told him no, it's okay. If she only's 2 centimeters, she's not like moving super fast, it's fine. So he left, and I was on the phone with him for a good little while, and I had got myself settled in the room. And the lady that was in the room with me, she was also on the phone with her significant other and in labor, well, like going through labor. Isn't that the same as in labor? Whatever. You know what I'm saying. But she was going through the same thing I was going through. I eventually went to sleep at some point in time. Oh, but the doctor did give me like a thermometer or something to keep track of I had to do my temperature every hour ever since my water broke to make sure nothing happened. I guess it was like a way to check for infection. I'm not sure. But I do remember them making me do that. But I fell asleep, and when I woke up, I was in more pain than before, like more pain than my contractions. And in my head, I was like, "Oh shit, this is ready to go." My husband's at home. It's like a 20-30 minute drive to get over here from the house. Like, I can't be pushing the baby out yet. He's not here. So I called him first, and I told him, and I was like, "I'm gonna just wait in the room so you get here and then go over there." He was like, "No, just go over there, let them check you and everything." So I went over there, they checked me. She did not move. She was still in the same spot, same position, and he was still on his way. So what they gave me some IV fluids and IV medication. It was a very low dosage of medicine, but it helped. And I went back to my room. And I was on the phone with him, and I told him, like, "Hey, I'm back in the room." And he was like, "You know what? I'm just staying out here and I'm gonna sleep in the car in the parking lot just in case." So we were on the phone for a little bit longer. He went to sleep, I went to sleep, and I woke back up in pain again. And this time I kind of knew, like it was it was like 10 times worse than like the last time. I kind of knew, like, this was legit, this was for real, she was coming. But in my head, I was like, I don't want them to send me back over here, and I don't want him to try to come up here and then nothing's happening. He got to go back downstairs and leave out. So I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait it out. And then I was like, I kept feeling like I had to pee. So I went to the bathroom, and I wouldn't, like, my body wouldn't pee, but my body started to naturally push her out. And I was just like, no, no. Like, at first, I was just like, no, that's not happening. I was trying to, like, stop my body from doing it, because I was like, I cannot have her in the toilet or on the bathroom floor. I can't. So I mustered up whatever type of strength I had, and I got up to do the little remote for the nurse. And she came in, and I told her what was happening, and she was like, "Well, you got to go to the labor and delivery side." So it was like, this is the side of when you're waiting to give birth and after you gave birth, and you got to go like this. And then this is where you actually deliver the baby. Y'all, when she left, I thought she was coming back with a wheelchair to help me. She did not come back. So I had to walk. Yeah, I had to walk over there by myself. Mind you, I passed the nurse's station. Me and her made eye contact. I had to walk by myself to the labor side, the labor and delivery side. And nobody helped me. I seen nurses staring at me as I'm walking down this hall. Like I said, I already passed her station. Nobody helped me. Everybody keeps seeing me stop. Like, I'm stopping because my body is pushing her out and I'm in so much pain. So I'm trying to walk as much as I can before I have to stop. But I'm literally walking and stopping, walking and stopping. And while I'm walking, I called my husband. I said, "Honey, you gotta come upstairs. Like, it's time. You gotta come upstairs." He was like, "Get checked just in case." Right? So I hang up because I'm irritated. I'm already irritated that the lady never came back to help me. These people staring at me, not helping me. I'm already irritated. So I make it over there, and I buzz the thing for the nurse to come out, and she comes out, and she like, "I can't keep checking you because your water broke, and I don't want you to get an infection." And so at first I was just like, okay. And I was about to walk back, but I literally could not even walk back. When she went back and closed the door, I sat down in the seats that were directly outside of that door because I could not walk back. And I just got to a point where I was just like, I know what's happening. I know this is what's happening. So I rang the bell again, and she was about to say it again. I said, "Just check me. Just check me." And she did check me, and she was like, "Oh, it's time. Oh, it's time. Like, she's coming." And I'm like, yeah. So I had to walk to another room within that little labor and delivery side. It wasn't as long as the distance as the previous walk I had to take. But I walked to that room, and she helped me get on the bed, and my husband had came upstairs. and you can tell he was excited. I would say I was excited. I was just in pain, so I couldn't really show my excitement. I was just kind of like ready to get her out so I can stop being in pain. So she set me up, she hooked me up to some machines, and my husband was there. She left the room, and I assumed she left the room to get the doctors because I heard her paging them like on their little pager. And eventually she came back in and she looked and she was like, oh. And I'm like, hmm. So she tells me to start pushing. And I know it's like a thing of practice pushes or pushes just to kind of get her close enough that I know like nurses do before the doctor actually come in and they come out. But like, no. Mama was not playing. She was trying to get out of there. Because I did one push and then she told me to stop. I took a breather and then I did another push. And that second push, y'all, she was out. But midway of that second push, I was getting ready to stop. Because like I counted to 10 already. I was getting ready to stop. And they were like, no, keep going. Because her head and her shoulders were coming out. And they were trying to make sure my body didn't retract her in and like harm her. So I had to keep pushing, and I ended up just pushing her all the way out on my second push. I only had 2 pushes during my whole labor. And they did not clean her off. She just wrapped her and she put her on my chest directly, which I was completely fine with. I originally kept saying I wanted them to clean her off, but in the moment, I was completely fine with them putting her on my chest. And I do have a photo from, for that moment, from my point of view, that I'll put up on the screen. And yeah, and she just kind of laid on my chest and I was just kind of there. And then she told me that, was it then when I delivered my placenta? No, it wasn't even immediate. She was just on my chest for a while and just there. I know my husband cut the umbilical cord. And yeah, I remember that. Like, actual birth part was a little hazy. So I was so exhausted. I was so tired. And eventually that they took her and gave her to my husband. And the doctor came in and I delivered my placenta. And then after my placenta came out, because I know some people get relief when a baby came out. When my placenta came out, that's when I was fine. I was completely fine after that. And then the doctor came in and sewed me up. So y'all, like, the nurse delivered my baby. The doctors did not make it because she came out really fast. A lot faster than all of us was really expecting. So that's that. And I would love to say thank you to that nurse because she was great. She was a star. She was the MVP. Because technically my husband was supposed to go downstairs after an hour, but she let him stay. I had fell asleep in there. I don't even know how long I was asleep for. I woke up and he's in there with her, just loving on her. They fell asleep in the chair. Y'all, this is TMI. At some point in my sleep, I peed on myself. Like, my body just was like, and I peed on myself. It is what it is. People shit on themselves, okay? So I feel like mine isn't that bad. Eventually they helped me to my room, and by then they had a family room, so he was able to immediately stay, and they moved us into that room. We got settled in. I had my own bed, he had his own bed, and they had her in between us. And I was fine. I was just in love. It's the best way to put it. I was just so in love, infatuated with her. I just was staring at her. All I wanted to do was hold her. Every time he tried to take her, I was just like, but I know, like, it's his daughter too. And I was just like, no. But y'all, that was absolutely amazing. Just when I say I love her with every single piece of me, I love that little girl with every single piece of me. Like I'm getting, I feel like I'm about to cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. You did your makeup. Okay. No, y'all. She is my heart. Don't cry. Um, so she was with us for the first day. They did not actually give her a bath till the next day because apparently studies show it's good for them to have that. It's something that it begins with a V. I don't remember the exact term, but to have it on their skin at least for 24 hours. So they did not give her an actual bath till the next day. And she wasn't like, they didn't constantly take her out of the room. Like, even if they did take her out of the room, we were right across from the nursery, and they always told us, like, hey, one of us can go with them. Like, it was never like, hey, I gotta take her if she can't be in here or something like that, or she gotta sleep in the nursery. No. She was literally with us all the time for the entire, I think I was in the hospital for a total of 3 days. She was with us all the time. Unless they were doing shots, but they all, like I said, they always said we could go with her. It was never a thing of like, hey, y'all gotta stay here and I'll bring her back. Like, no. And then also, I'm just saying, my baby was very easy to tell if they did not bring me back the right baby, if you know what I mean. Like, I did not have like a whole bunch of pain afterwards. I only had maybe like 3 stitches. I tore, but I didn't really tear a lot. The food, breakfast, it's this little bread. They give you this bread in the morning for breakfast, and it looked like it's gonna be so hard, but it is so soft. And they give you these different type of fruit jams. Oh, that was absolutely just delicious. That was me and my husband's favorite meal of the day. But we did also have our own food. We were able to bring our own food and snacks and things like that there. So even if we didn't want to eat their food, we didn't have to. It's not like we had to only eat hospital food. Like, you could bring outside food and they'll let you eat it. Unlike, I know the states, they don't allow you to bring your own food for some reason. I don't know. I don't get it. That's not even gonna get into it. But moving on. Yeah, they one thing differently as far as shots that they gave her a vitamin K shot. That's just like a very common thing they do here in Germany. I wasn't against it. I did look it up. So, and they always give you a full information sheet of anything and everything they do to her. They tell you right away. She did have jaundice when she was born, and they were concerned for her numbers because she was a yellow baby. She was a yellow baby for sure. But her jaundice eventually went down.